Ty, 35 years ago, you won the Heisman yesterday. I can't believe it's been that long for one thing. But two, what are the memories that you have of that day, which was one of the biggest days of your life?
Yeah, looking back and now having a chance to be in New York for other guys winning it, you kind of see how they're limited on who they have there as a guest. They have their family and coaches and maybe a player or two. But for me, I got to have the whole group around, everybody from coaches to players to staff. We were all together, all the people that had a hand in it. And that made it special, to have everybody there and to be a part of the announcement.
It's such an iconic video, too. And in 2019, we actually stayed at that hotel, Princess Kailani, there in Honolulu. So you've got an earpiece, and no one else does. So you hear it first, and you kind of do this pump, right? And Glenn Tuckett's there, and Lavelle, and the team. Like, what do you remember from the moment you hear your name, Ty Detmer?
Yeah, technology was a little different 35 years ago. So didn't have cell phones, didn't have anything, but it was neat. Obviously I wish everybody would have heard it because, I think I went, we got it, and Lavelle went nuts. Everybody went crazy. And so it was fun, like I said, having everybody there and surrounded by your teammates and coaches was awesome.
Update the people on what you're doing, where you're at, and how coaching's going.
Coaching at American Leadership Academy, the Gilbert North location here, second year now. We just lost Friday in the semifinals, so we were 11-2, had a great season. Just didn't quite get over the hump there to make it to state, but got 7 grandkids and still get to the ranch every now and then. So, just having a great time here in Arizona, and I love what I'm doing and who I'm doing it with.
Congrats on the fantastic season. That's awesome. Back-to-back, I think, right, in the semis, which is awesome. Certainly the story, Ty, in BYU sports is Kalani Sitake and Penn State's interest. What do you make of this situation? Because Lavelle had interest from the Lions in Texas and Missouri and Miami during his time as well.
Yeah, I was on with Dave McCann and the Wise Guys last night, and they asked me, what do you think Lavelle would say to Kalani? I'm like, well, I know what he would say because he had similar opportunity, I think, with the Jets to jump to the NFL, and I'm sure other programs, hit him up. But, he loved BYU. He loved what he was doing, and he had it on cruise control, had great assistants and people in place that he had a well-balanced life, even though he was a football coach and putting a lot of time and energy into that. So, there comes a point where there's that balance, and obviously it's a compliment for Kalani to be, mentioned at some of these other programs and things like that. The money's obviously enticing, and you have to entertain it, and you have to look at it to put your family in the right situation. And then at some point it becomes, where do I really feel like I need to be? And, he's done a great job here. Obviously, if you move, you can have a great impact somewhere else and, promote doing things the right way at another spot. But, knowing Kalani, I know he loves where he's at. He loves the atmosphere, just the whole pie that BYU brings, and he's a great fit for it. And so, if they're able to get things close financially and in a ballpark somewhere and get, he's the type of guy he's going to want his assistants taken care of and those kind of things, that if they can kind of move the needle that way, I don't think he goes to a whole new location, but you never know. Everybody's got to make a decision that's best for them and their family.
Which Happy Valley is the question? We're talking to Ty Detmer on BYU Sports Nation. What's impressed you the most about BYU's incredible 11-1 regular season?
Yeah, they just, every week they show up and they play both sides of the ball, offensively, defensively. They're getting turnovers. Bear obviously has done a great job and had a ton of poise for a young guy, runs the ball extremely well, and then that opens up a lot of the play action shot type of plays. So overall, they're just a very consistent team that has played well all year.
What would a 1987 Ty Detmer in a power conference league would have looked like as a true freshman?
Not pretty. I mean, I redshirted that first year, all 172 pounds of me.
Not much?
Probably would have not been running QB power and some of those things at that size. So not very good.
If the 1990 team, which to me was probably your best team, 91 was pretty good too. 89 was good too. They were all good. If they faced this schedule, Ty, how do you feel they would have done? Because I'm trying to gauge, where does this BYU team rank in BYU history? We still have to see Saturday and bowl games and perhaps playoff games with this team. But talk to me about what the best team you played for, maybe it was 90, would have done against this schedule.
Yeah, 90 probably was. We had the most depth, most guys returning, kind of a great balance of juniors and seniors, and that was probably our best team that I was there with. And you know, it was a different time. You know, we played some Power 5 school, Washington State, Oregon, some of those schools, but they weren't, you know, what they are now as far as Oregon goes. But you know, yeah, I think we would have competed. We would have played well, played hard, but it's different, you know, with being in the Big 12 now, year 3, the NIL and the portal. You know, they've got more depth probably now than they've had in the past because of, you know, I feel like just being in the Big 12, you're able to recruit a little better and get, you know, more top players. So they've done a great job that way and have added the depth and things like that they need to make it through a Power 5 schedule. So, you know, obviously, you know, Big 12, great conference, but you take out Oklahoma and Texas and some of those schools, and it, you know, it's not quite what it was a few years ago with those two schools in there, Oklahoma. But you know, it's still every week it's kind of one of those that could go either way if you don't play well. And so they've done a great job of just playing consistent and playing well. And I'd like to think we would have competed that year, my junior year. My senior year, we were young, had some new guys. We got better as the season went on, but we wouldn't, you know, we started out with Florida State, Penn State, and UCLA and went 0-3. So senior year, we wouldn't have been very good probably in a Power 5 schedule.
That was a brutal start to the year for sure with that schedule. My first BYU football game ever, by the way, was that third game at UCLA in the Rose Bowl. I lived in Southern California. Tommy Maddox was the other quarterback. You were the quarterback for BYU.
We should have won that one.
There you go. That's what I said when I was 7 walking out of that stadium, Ty, too. I'm just kidding. Yeah. We live in a world, Ty, where BYU is number 23 in the country in rush yards per game and 78th in passing. It's a different version of the Cougars, but it's kind of a championship formula in terms of what's the personnel BYU has? What do they do well? Aaron Roderick and Jay Hill, how they complement each other, and the special teams. What do you make of how BYU plays football that has led to 11 wins?
Yeah, you know, I think as far as, you know, running the ball with Bear, he gives you another dimension, almost like Taysom Hill, you know, doesn't have the speed Taysom had, but the physicality and running downhill, he does a great job of doing that. And so, you know, you get LJ going one way and him going the other, makes it hard for defenses to pursue and chase, and then they still have to stay home. And so they've done a great job of maximizing what they've had to work with, and the offensive line's playing great. So, and then, you know, like I said, you're making enough plays in the pass game and some chunk yardage that way to keep drives alive and score points. And so I think, you know, Aaron Roderick's doing a great job with the guys he has and making it tough on defenses to really key in on one aspect.
It's a rematch with Texas Tech in the Big 12 title game. It's one of the biggest games in BYU football history. Certainly BYU lost 29-7 in Lubbock. What do you think needs to change for the Cougars to upset Texas Tech?
Well, I think having that experience of playing them before and then knowing what you're getting into will be different for them. You know, obviously they had the Utah game, which was a great game, and came out on top of that one. So, you know, the formula's got to be continue to run the ball, take your shots, and then you got to try to slow them down a little bit. So you can't turn it over. I know the first meeting they had some turnovers and put them in some bad spots. So you eliminate the big mistakes and you keep yourself in it and give yourself a chance to win it at the end.
One of the Heisman candidates is in the game, Jacob Rodriguez of Texas Tech. Having won the Heisman, you get a vote. Who are some of the candidates you're looking at for who you'll vote for?
Well, I don't know why, but I'm kind of a quarterback guy. In today's world, you know, they put the ball in the QB's hand, and you know, you got some guys that are having great seasons, spreading the ball around, running it themselves, making some plays. So I don't know. I still kind of right now. I don't watch a ton of college football. I've seen a little bit as the year goes on. Saturday's kind of my get away from football day a little bit. I haven't seen a ton, but I know there's some guys out there, you know, that are Mendoza and guys like that are having great seasons. So I'm going to have to vote here in the next week. So I better figure it out here pretty soon.
Hey, you've got a week. You can dial in now. Ty, we appreciate the time. Always great to talk to you. Congratulations on another great season with your team, and we appreciate you joining BYU Sports Nation.